Right now, we are staying on top of breaking news. Just moments ago, former President Donald Trump speaking out less than 24 hours after a jury found him guilty on all counts in the criminal hush money trial. Mr. President, it continues to maintain that he is innocent and claims the verdict was rigged.
They can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an angel, but he's really a devil.
The verdict in former President Trump's case could impact voters when they head to the polls in November. Mr. Trump will likely be the Republican nominee. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley takes a look at how local voters are processing this conviction.
There's no shortage of reaction.
This has never been done before in the U.S.
to a history-making event.
Because if he was convicted, I mean, he wasn't doing something right.
I think it's a travesty for the country.
We don't need a crook in office. We need a president.
There's a lot of felons in America. And just because you're a felon doesn't mean you shouldn't have an opportunity.
A New York jury's conviction of former President Donald Trump on 34 felony counts might not do much to sway voters, according to Emory University political scientist Dr. Andra Gillespie.
Just because he's been convicted of a felony does not preclude him from being able to run for office. How do voters in the middle, how do independent voters, how do reluctant Republican voters now think about this particular issue?
As President Biden and Mr. Trump get set to debate in just 4 weeks here in Atlanta, GOP strategist Brian Robinson says Biden has to avoid gloating to avoid the appearance of corruption.
You're going to see Donald Trump, however, go on offense of being a martyr, being persecuted, being treated unfairly.
The GOP are turning the verdict into a victory. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp says the trial was driven by partisan politics. Republican fundraising sites crashed due to an overload of donations.
Georgia Republicans are rallying behind President Trump, and I think this is actually going to increase his margin of victory in November.
Georgia GOP Chair Josh McCoon worries the trial set a political precedent.
This is not a right-left thing. It's not a Democrat-Republican thing. It's not a Donald Trump thing. It's, do we want to have a country where we all have confidence in our criminal justice system?
Supporters and opponents will have the final say on Trump's political future come November.
People will see what he actually is. A fraud. I think it's not going to sway the election one way or the other.
That was Joe Ripley reporting. Georgia's GOP chair Josh McCoon says the verdict will likely have a unifying effect among Republicans, and he's optimistic the conviction could be overturned in an appeal.